So, we're all here to work out how to deal this latest wacky shenanigans in Tombs of Scoria. There has to be a plan. There's a lot of options. I kind of want to preface it by saying that Neil did kind of warn off reading too much of the Monstrous Manual, so I don't want to like read every single detail and metagame too hard. Now I know that a lot of the details are already out there, so we still can look at them. I know people have posted them in the thread, but I'll try like in character not to metagame too hard on that. So we'll sort of dismiss some plans that require abusing the specific mechanics of the monster. 2-point Neil Death Knight. Yeah, I mean it could be all sorts of wacky, couldn't it? To be honest. Could have had a Lich as a partner. Well, who knows that there isn't a Lich within the keep? You know? Alright, we got 90 comments in a day. That's pretty cool. Should have a lot of stuff to go through. Then there's some high effort posts, and I mean, whew. Korono Kiri. I do know that there is a whole post as well dedicated to the subject that we'll look at too. There's quite a lot to go through here. Now, I've glanced through this. There are some people who've made some mistakes in their assessments. There's some good points. Obviously, our lives are at risk here, so we're not going to be skimping on it. If your plan is based on wrong ideas, then unfortunately, I will have to dismiss it out of hand. That's just the necessity to surviving. So let's talk about some basics here. Okay, number one, I think we have to assume that any of its abilities are going to be unaffected by whatever crazy bullshit's going on in Glacier. I think we have to assume that. Even if we can't assume that, we literally cannot make the plan based on the assumption that one of its spells aren't going to work. So we have to assume that everything it tries to do works. Then the second safe assumption that we can make is that in a fight without any of its spells, Tyrael would destroy it without a problem. If you were playing the Death Knight and you were fighting Tyrael, how would you feel about your odds? Yeah, not great, since Tyrell's going to slaughter him, right? It's basically going to come down to a save on the Banshee, hopefully. I think what we're trying to do is to, can it be achieved without having any save or die at all? Which is tough. Do you think there would be a way to set up a fan of archers to fire at the Death Knight, basically creating a giant spread out semicircle? Should work against fireball and wall of ice, and archery should outrange power word kill. Death Knight just fireballs, 1 or 2 people. It's a worthwhile sacrifice. No, I don't want to. I want to try and do it without anyone being killed, you know. Convincing the brothers of any plan is an important part of main plan. Well, that's true. And especially if the plan ends up being Imric doing it. I think they're going to take some convincing to let me do it. Can you polymorph and sneak into the tower? Okay, so the problem with going into the tower is that the Death Knight sets traps. Now, I haven't looked up the specific rules of how they work, because I think that's kind of beyond what I should know. But I know that he can set, like, I think they're called Seal of Pain or Seal of something else. So, and who knows how many other undead live in the keep with it. So I really feel like going into the keep, trying to sneak through, or trying to fight it in its lair is a bad idea. I feel like fighting it out in the open in the town is by far our best option. Do you know if Anton's amulet works? I know his amulet does work. Could we track the Death Knight? I don't think so, because
the power is mine.
Anton has no reason to get vengeance on the Death Knight, so I find it unlikely that he would do that. Is there any chance your spell slots unfreeze if you move back outside Glacier? Well, I fucking hope so. But I don't think that's an option. Plus, anyway, I'm not locked out of any level completely. I've still got 2 free slots at level 5. So these 2 slots at level 5 can be any of my other spells. Does anyone remember how many fly spells got locked, and if they did? And I've still got my level 1 and 2 and 3 slots if not. So it's just level 4 where the issue is, where 3 stone skins have been locked. What about disguising Tyrael as weak? Cover him with dog's blood? make him limp so that he looks like he'll die from the power word kill to make the Death Knight wasted. I feel like we'd struggle to pull that off, but it is quite smart. If the earplugs work, the Banshee's not a threat. Yeah, but we're not gonna know whether they work or not, are we, until it happens. Is Todd still on tomorrow? Yeah, it should be. Sacrifice one of Anton's party members to the Death Knight and then Anton can get revenge. Pretty smart. Do you think the Death Knight would have some sort of reaction to Anton's amulet? Even other undead has had it so far. Have they? Which undead have had a reaction to the amulet? Hasted Tyrael kills the Death Knight in one round. I think haste is too risky to be fucking around with, personally. It's an option. But Power Word Stun would still end the fight for him. He can only use one of the power words per day. Alright, okay, I didn't know that. I mean, I think that, if he uses Power Word Blind or Power Word Stun on Tyrael, then Imric can cast Chill Shield and just go and kill him. Like, I'm pretty sure with my bow, I can kill him pretty quickly. As a Death Knight, I would Wall of Ice myself with a single target, fight him to death, and repeat till all are dead. Well, that might actually be... If the Power Word thing doesn't stop Tyrael, then he's gonna kill him. I think that's like a guaranteed, if he's fighting without the Banshee. Problem is, I'm foreseeing the chance that we actually might not see it without the Banshee. I think we'll be forced to choose between fighting in the lair during the day or fighting at night against both of them. Fighting in the lair during the day is just risky with all the traps and shit and potential for other monsters. Can you tell if Chill spell works after it's cast? Yeah, there's like you're wreathed in flames. So that should be pretty obvious if that's worked. I don't know if that Power Word Stun is countered by the Ring of Free Action Frost. How's this? Tyrael runs at it and you shoot at it from range, both wearing a fire protection ring either it fireballs and dies, or ice walls to stop your arrows, and then Big T goes to town on us. Yeah. But what if it Power Word stuns Tyrael, and then Wall of Ices me, and then just kills Tyrael while he's stunned? In the Monstrous Mind, it says you can parlay with it if you somehow find info about its history and family. But I just, yeah, like how though? We could have maybe asked the mage in the tower, but it's kind of too late for that now. Any chance his gear is going to be more powerful than expected? Yeah. I mean, almost certainly, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got dragon armor and he's got 30 AC. Like, if I was Neil, I wouldn't feel bad about decking it out in similar gear to us. I mean, if we've got that gear, then there's no reason a Death Knight shouldn't. If he was a paladin in Glacier, chances are he's going to have the best gear that they can have. So yeah, if he's got 30 AC, don't be fucking shocked. It's pretty wacky, but it could happen.
Yeah, boy.
Maybe scout a bit. If the Banshee hides in the day, the Death Knight might have a hard time detecting Tyrael while he sneaks around. Yeah, I think that we can... I think once we have a plan, we can go in during the day, and either the Death Knight comes out on its own to fight, and we enact the plan, or we get to loot the town. I think that's the main play. In terms of its sort of like broad outline, whatever the plan is, I think we do that. Mutant's here. He said 46.5 is what Anton's got. Yeah, so like... The fireball still fucks me and Anton up. Do you think reduced Anton could cast his cleric spells in your dimensional pocket? Since technically it's in a demi-plane and not in Glacier. Do you know what, Zach? It's a good idea. I don't think it'll work because I feel like it's kind of cheesing. But I feel like a pocket dimension exists within the plane that it's on. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, but it could be on the plane. The gods are there on that plane. I don't know. I wonder if that would work. That would actually be... Okay, let's just write it down, because I think it's worth recording. Anton reduced in road pocket. No, because of the shenanigans with bags of holding. No, we can't do that. It's a cool idea, but it's too risky. Yeah, it's AC 0 according to the monster manual, sure, but I feel like it would be okay for Neil to buff it. Would Tyrael challenge it to a non-magical fight? Well, we haven't even looked at the Reddit thread yet, and that is the top comment, so I do think that there's something in that. Tyrael rushes the Death Knight. The Death Knight could fireball himself. 75% chance of survival. Well, I was thinking about that, but actually, wouldn't his magic resistance just cancel the whole fireball? If you cast fireball on someone with magic resistance, right? This is what we had with Neil last time. It doesn't just not work on them, it'll like break the whole spell. So I think that there's a decent chance that if Tyrael could just like get next to it, that it can't really fireball him. But the problem is it could still power word stun him if it metagames slightly. And then it can do what it wants with him. I was imagining a map more like this. Have you just done that now? You're just trying to make me look stupid. God, why can't I just envision things better? Well, this looks so much better. Tell me you found this on the internet and you didn't just draw that. There are repeats here, so these have been copy and pasted in, obviously. It's cheating. This is a good way to draw mountains, though. Death Knights are former good warriors who are judged by the gods to be guilty of unforgivable crimes, such as murder or treason. Death Knights are cursed to remain in their former domains, usually castles or other strongholds. They are further condemned to remember their crime in song on any night when the moon is full. Few sounds are as terrifying as a Death Knight's chilling melody echoing through the moonlit countryside. Death Knights are likely to attack any creature that interrupts their songs or trespasses in their domain. Oof. Fucking hell. Okay, so top comment is use the tongue scroll plus sending to remotely challenge the Death Knight to a 1v1 fight. No magic allowed on the town square at high noon. It's such a good idea. I genuinely this might work. Do sending require the right language? The sending, if successful, can be understood even by a creature with an intelligence as low as 1. So no. Language doesn't matter. Don't even need tongues. I just need the knight's name. It would never work because Tyrael's already demonstrated that he's not honourable. I don't know about that, Decode. I don't think we've demonstrated that we're not honourable. ToS boy says disbelief it. Good comment. 1 upvote. Cloak and Dagger says darkness don't cheese during the daytime. Again. Oh, somebody very helpfully has posted here. It probably won't work because I don't think darkness works against an undead. Okay. As your propagation. This is the guy who wrote the high effort post the other day, so we'll go and read that. Okay. In order to win against the Death Knight encounter, the team can't just use one clever tactic. The solution to this problem needs to be some form of layered trap that takes into account all of the factors that we've been presented with so far. Okay. And then, my dear Watson, it was the lady in red with the candlestick in the music room. Let's start with some educated assumptions about the dangers. Okay. Are you guys with us so far? All right. Getting in close with the Death Knight is instant death for non-Tyraels. True. I agree with this. 2. Ranged attacks are also at risk of being instantly melted by fireball. True. There is no reliable way of incorporating magical effects into a battle plan. Glacier weirdness plus Death Knight magic resistance of 75%.
Yes, the power is mine.
Timmy.
Import a Death Knight to kill Scoria.
Thanks for the 8 months. I have not read the other Reddit thread yet now, Aleph. Well, yeah, I'm doing it now, but something referenced this post, so we're on this one now. Okay. Involving the Banshee in the fight in any capacity ruins the chances of success. Well, see, this is where I think we will have to fight the Banshee. Now, assuming that we'll find some way of isolating the Death Knight, disregarding method for now, let's take a look at the things that make the Death Knight vulnerable. 20 AC and 45 HP. You know, we just can't rely on that. Has no magical effects like Stone Skin. Okay, that's true. One attack per round. Again, I could see Neil changing that. It just seems stupid that it's only got one attack a round. Has no movement-based abilities that allow it to circumvent being physically trapped. Has high int, but not necessarily high perception. Copium. There's a big implied copium there. And I think he understands that with the way that he's italicked the, but not necessarily high perception. Like, he's put in italics because he knows that it probably has high perception as well. And Neil won't see it like that. Seems to me, the most efficient and safe way of dispatching of the Death Knight is via traps, ambush, and normal melee / ranged attacks during the daytime. I mean, yeah, I think this is like a basic plan. But in reality, it might be the best plan there is, but it's not great, I don't think. The most efficient way of dispatching it is via traps, blah, blah, blah. We've got many overwhelming advantages. Number one, incredibly powerful fighters. Yeah. A sub-team that specializes in thief skills, okay. Time and distance required to set up a trap. Yeah. Experience with local environmental hazards. Imrit Megari. I personally am a powerful asset. Not my brains, but my ability to run fast and shoot. Okay. My idea is a spin-off on the based tripwire plan that they came up with during the session. Imrit needs to go alone and bait. Already quite a scary concept. Bait the Death Knight into action. Details here are tricky, varied, but are somewhat different discussion. Well, the thing is, it's going to be in its keep, so I'm not going to be able to bait it out by shooting at it. He needs to do his best to maintain distance while occasionally losing a single shot. The hope is to do at least 10 damage before it reaches the trap. Goal is to whittle down the Death Knight and annoy it, not do enough damage to cause it to retreat, or fireball out of desperation. But that's the thing, I think it will just retreat. I think... The second it knows that it's, you know, being kited, it's just going to back off, unless it casts Wall of Ice. And actually... Wall of Ice can be cast in a few different ways, can't it? Is one of them Hemisphere? Wall of Ice. So he's a 20th level caster. This guy can create a hemisphere with a 23-foot radius. So it can create like a 56-foot across dome of ice around it. So that's so badass. This is what MMFG was saying before, like it picks someone for a duel and then immediately hemisphere of ice around it or fights the death. That's badass. Okay, but the hemisphere doesn't move with it though, so and it lasts for like forever, 200 minutes, over 3 hours. This isn't the dog shit DM clip, but here's the reason he was mad. Thanks, Wagga.
Alright, you guys continue hiking up into the mountain until you see the familiar area where you battled the Onkegs in the past. Trevor, are you not going with the rest of the party?
I'm going, yeah. Oh,
would you like to maybe move your tokens?
Guys, a lot of work
relative to everybody
Oh no.
else. Where are they?
Hearing Neil's voice that he was pissed off by. Did you hear that?
My dad was a Destiny.
RSA lol.
Keep up the
Thanks
great
for 9
streams,
months.
Nick. Been loving the ToS analysis and occasional gaming.
Thank you, buddy.
To maybe move your tokens.
Guys, a lot of work.
Relative to
Very
everybody
sassy
else.
now.
Where are they?
That sounds like Grub. Everyone else has moved on, and Grub. Whoa! You can just stop right there, Grub.
Holy shit, Grub! You were in the middle of the.
Wait. I would have moved.
Oh shit! Is he making him trigger the encounter?
You are hardcore baiting me. I would have moved with the party. Grub always moves with the party. He never stays alone. That's totally out of character for him.
Is it out of character for Grub to be distracted?
No, but he has never done that before. He's like I didn't know the whole party was moving. I'm eating Chipotle, bro. I didn't know the whole party was
give it to you,
moving.
But I want you to consider this your warning.
He's giving him a. He's giving him a chance there. Okay.
I'm not going to the bathroom right now. I don't just stand up and walk away. There's like another step in it. So I was like,
Yeah, you gotta like put something over your lap first, so we don't see the big wet spot appearing.
Yeah, I just like, so that's what happened was I thought about it in my head, and then my brain moved because I had my hand on it. Can we stealth over there?
With your blinding, bright as daylight lights,
Listen,
do you want to creep to the edge of the light and see what's beyond?
Yes.
Well, what's there is you should be able to see a certain amount, and you will also get an acid spray as you walk into the area.
Well, I'll just.
It hisses at you.
Hey, you! No interrupt! And throws like a tiny little fireball.
So the shirts catch fire when you produce flame while you're still having the shirts, your hand in the shirt.
Are you really gonna?
Wait, what? Why would his shirt catch fire?
Are you really doing this right now? It harms neither you nor your equipment. Okay.
There you go.
Wow. So someone thought, what if there's a DM that is such an asshole
Wow.
that it actually they say that the flame blows it up. Someone thought that far ahead to make sure that didn't happen.
You're unconscious?
Yes. I have 27 HP.
Holy shit. I mean, he's been out. Is this all the same episode, Jay? He's totally just asking to get ganked.
Ridiculous.
Grub falls to the ground unconscious.
Wait, what happened?
Grub falls to the ground unconscious.
Good luck.
The other eggs move into place, but that is as far as they can move this round.
Everybody fucking hates me. That's it. Bye.
It was the entire campaign. Damn. That was good watching. I enjoyed that. That was a nice bit of brevity from the seriousness of the situation, guys. Put your PogChamps and your lulls away, okay? Because this is fucking serious in here, alright? We're back to serious business now. Okay, so I'm meant to somehow lure out the Death Knight from the keep, which I don't know how I can do. The first trap is use the iceberg. Mechanism should be devised to counterbalance both sides of the berg that can be removed at a moment's notice. I'll run over the iceberg, lure the Death Knight on, move the counterbalance, he falls in, losing us the loot. If he gets past the trap, a two-layered trap, a trip line into a pitfall. Okay, that could be pretty good. But anyone with magic items he's going to see hiding in the snow. I don't think this works. I remember his points. I've read this about it justifies the number of people in the expedition and all of that. I just don't think it's going to work. Okay. In the interest of time, we'll move on. Because Azure Propagation, Jesus Christ, does have some more points. Fear Aura makes potential damage output of a melee ambush for multiple people much lower than I'd like. Yeah, Fear Aura. I don't think like ambushing with everyone is a good idea. I think the plan has to be to dodge the fireball and the power word kill and then just have someone 1v1 it. I really think that's the best option. Fireball and Wall of Ice are both extremely long range. This makes the prospect of Imric kiting hard to stomach since he can't tank both spells. Fire and Chill Shield is brought up as a possible mitigation against Fireball. Cancel it. The problem with Fire Chill Shield is it only lasts rounds per level, so it'll only last 11 rounds. I could wear the Con Amulet, which would be good, but again, I mean, I think me wearing the Con Amulet, using Chill Shield, and just approaching it and staying out of 60-foot power word kill range would work, but I don't know if we can really move the amulet around like that. I know there was some discussion in the Discord about what would happen with that. I feel like the amulet is on Tyrael, and taking it off him at this point is probably pretty bad for him. Death Knight only gets one fireball a day. If he can be induced to fire it off at max range, it might be the perfect opportunity for the Wall Shield to come in, which is not a bad plan, actually. Imric successfully casting Improved Strength, Invis, or Haste on Tyrael might give him the edge here. Yeah, I mean, I think any spells would be good. Improved Strength might be okay to cast. Really, because I don't really see the downside of that going wrong. Haste, I think, could be really bad. It could be like permanent haste that he dies in like 6 months. 11 rounds should be fine for the Death Knight. No, just cast it right before he's in fireball range and kill him before he realizes what's happened. Yeah, but what if he puts up his ice hemisphere for 20 minutes and then breaks it? Then what? I think everyone's assuming that the Banshee and the Death Knight can be baited and will act like scripted NPCs. I agree with this. Why am I on Reddit again? 9. I don't know if that's true, given that they're high int monsters. Seems to me they make a mistake following the team. Maybe it's their bloodlust stuff, they're not sensing anything living for so long. I feel like this is their best chance to catch them. The Banshee glows at night and sings, giving away their position. If Tyrell can kite and kill the Banshee, he can almost solo the Death Knight. If conditions are right, he might be able to get the Death Knight too, but he'll probably be smart and hide. The Banshee can't because it's glowing, unless Neil has it go to the ground or something. I hope it can't do that, otherwise okay, so he's talking about they're picking off the Banshee and then fleeing, and then trying to kill the Death Knight on its own later, on another day. Which is not a bad plan. Like, how fast could Imric kill the Banshee, I wonder? Alright, I think we're done with this comment. Okay, our very own AO here. Okay. Some strategies the Death Knight can employ. Use Wall of Ice to do guaranteed damage. If Imric tries to use his range, he might either fireball him or use Wall of Ice, or create a barrier to block arrows. Yeah, can also create 2-3 walls to go in full defense. Party will be able to ignore the Death Knight and go straight into the keep in this case, but the Death Knight can still retreat by making Walls of Ice to protect the keep, yes. The party fights in its lair, it's going to be full of symbols of fear and pain, both of which stun the players for multiple rounds. Tyrael drinking the potion of protection against magic will reduce the effects of the spell by half. Ice Wall will still do 3d10, but Fireball will be halved, while Power Word Kill will only be on 30 HP or less. Are we sure about that last bit? I don't know if that's true. Potentially Blind is actually the strongest. So Tyrael will actually be able to infiltrate on a solo mission. The Death Knight can choose to bunker down and not come out at all, staying in the safety of his lair with all the symbols of fear and pain. So 2 scenarios. Party enters the keep during the day with a Darkness Stone of Protection, Potion of Protection from Magic. Imric can attempt to cast Chill Shield against the Fireball. The Death Knight can use its Wall of Ice to block passages or to damage the players using Fireball. Imric and Anton fall under 30 HP or Tyrael falls under 60, he can kill them. Can also hit and run. It should consider that it must stay alive to guard the area, so letting go of his Power Word when a Power Word stun will do more should be considered. So I don't think this last bit's right, because it sounds like he can only use one of his Power Words a day. Neil will have to consider if protection from Magic Potion reduces the effectiveness of magical items worn. Or 2, hoping it will exit the keep again, even at night. The Banshee will have to be killed by Imric, because he can stay out of range. But the Banshee needs to be visible, else he will have to hit the Death Knight, who can employ all of the mentioned strategies. Yeah, so I think there's some truth there. I'm just going to lower this down because it's a little bit loud, but it's kind of like as low as it can possibly be. So I'll lower it down on my headphones. Probably a better idea. You might try and trap you with the hemisphere. Oh shit, could he actually do that? Wait, I think it does say something about like that being difficult to do. Note that it is possible, but difficult to trap mobile opponents under the hemisphere. So in theory, he could fucking wreck me with that, which would be extremely bad news. Because then I would just be dead. It would walk up to me. I think if that happened, they would have to intervene. Could you dig a hole outside the keep doors and move past the Death Knight during the daytime? I don't know. You can make snowmen scattered around the city or beside a trap. Some for decoys and some for hidden troops. Yeah, but if he can... oh, you could also put minor magic items in the snowman. For his detect magic to confuse him. Ballsy Goblin. It's a good idea. Getting the duo to follow into open fields again seems to be the best route. The majority of the danger in last session was from the rest of the group slowing the brothers down. All 3 have greater movement speed than the duo once Imric gets his sandals back. What happened to my sandals? Did I give them to someone? I will assume I've got them back by now. The Boucher says that the Death Knight being human has an obvious weakness. He's not a human, so... Send Paola to seduce the Death Knight. 1, 2, 3, Litty Committee. Good one. Giving Koibu more as hero so he can play as 18 and Death Knight more appropriately. Smart Sangaro. But also, if there's lots of plans floating about, Neil won't know what our plan is. So this is just a reply to the other post. If this town isn't solid and keep, you might be best off avoiding the fight. I'm not necessarily sure that we can avoid the fight. Bait the Death Knight into following someone in the party, maybe by challenging it to a duel. The rest of the party can break up ice into big chunks, and then Imric can use Polymorph Self to turn into a rock. Can't turn into a rock. It's too big. Treat it like the Beholder fight, so need to obscure its vision. Again, I'm not sure that can be done. Not to shit in the punch bowl. Whoa, that's a strong opening line from Frisco Jones here. Not to shit in the punch bowl. But the more I think about this encounter, the more convinced I am that Koibu is intentionally setting this up as the party's Kobayashi Maru. Again, I'm assuming some weeaboo stuff there. With the conditions as they are now, I feel it's impossible to avoid both multiple NPC deaths and putting the player characters at extreme risk. I would recommend getting another clue or breadcrumb to follow to try and reshape the encounter to something more advantageous. An assumption I'm making is that this plan will ultimately involve not relying on any magical spell or effect. Probably true. But if someone can come up with an ingenious plan hinging on a spell or scroll, and Koibu isn't giving you any more breadcrumbs, it might be worth taking the chance that the spell fails or backfires. I see some consistent flaws in otherwise good ideas presented by many folk on the subreddit. There's a broad assumption that you'll be able to isolate the Death Knight away from the Banshee by fighting in the daytime. However, I feel this is a mistake. Even a nerfed daytime Banshee, unable to wail, serves as an early warning and radar system to the Death Knight, and any plan involving baiting the Death Knight out into an ambush of lying in wait PCs or NPCs is over if the Death Knight brings the Banshee with it during the day. I also feel the Death Knight won't easily take any bait if you try to draw it away from the town or the keep. The Death Knight pursued the party on the first night because it was pressing an overwhelming advantage by taking you unawares. I see few reasons it leaves the keep again just to fall into a trap, unless it feels like it has the upper hand, possibly by presenting yourselves as desperate and vulnerable as possible in an attempt to grab your supplies. It shouldn't leave the keep again. To me, this leaves the best option as a straight up fight, likely with your most loyal NPCs leading the charge, knowing this is a one-way trip for them, clearing the way for Tyrael to mop them up in relative safety. I don't think this is a satisfying idea for either yourselves as players or for the audience, but I'd recommend getting more information from Koibu about another avenue to pursue. I feel it's a fair assumption that the Death Knight has a specific mission to guard something of value in this town, and I'd recommend discovering the nature of this mission and leveraging it against him, otherwise this is shaping up to be a really costly encounter. Ouch. Kobayashi is a Star Trek reference. Okay, cool. Ah! No way. Says, bring it near a mountain and roll boulders down at it, / cause an avalanche to fall on it. Cool. Neil, we lure it near a mountain and then, we do an avalanche. We do an avalanche on it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Mission complete. Poom says, Trojan Horse, Lamau. But seriously, is it reasonable to assume that their magical abilities are faulty like the brothers? I know Tyrael wouldn't commit to a plan that hinges on a guess / possibility, but maybe something to think about. If they aren't affected, then would that allude to a connection, or even partnership of sorts, between the Death Knight Banshee and Glacier's unforgiving characteristics? Or possibly, they know how to circumvent Glacier's magic resistance. Ion stones? Side note, when you placed the banner / flag in the sled and noted that there was already a banner stashed there, did you get an eerie flashback of Scrags too? Playing with your memory in some way? I did a bit, yes. Long shots, no Banshee equals no spotter for Death Knight? Any party member looking for a glorious death? Death Knight extremely intelligent? Is he / she amenable in any way? Bribe? Zone of silence? Assuming Death Knight is wearing armor, etc. A dip in the river could do the trick also. Did any of you turn ice into water? Find out why / how the paladin / warrior was crooked and either attempt to reverse or use it to find a chink in the armor. Good luck, my friend. Good comment. I think there's some good points there. I think the last point, finding out how or why they were corrupted, is probably pretty smart. Dick Knight. The Dick Death Knight. Cast Miner Gateway at it to drown it in water and freeze it. I wonder if that would work. Do you think? How fast would water freeze in Glacier?
My dad was a destiny.
Chrombopulus.
So glad DND is back. Last episodes of both shows were fire.
Absolutely. Thank you for the 17 months at tier 2, my artistic friend. Chrombopulus has designed all of our emotes on the channel. So say thanks to him. That's what I said, says Per Ninja. Cool. Frost 57. Frosty. Is it Frosty? Frosty 57? Haven't you and Kobe decided that you can't wear your sandals for obvious reason? Not sure why they resurfaced in the last episode. Oh right, yeah, that does kind of make sense, doesn't it? Skeletons are immune to ice, and with such high strength it's unlikely can't break out of an ice trap, yeah. Whatever the plan is, try not to let it be a plan where you lose the Death Knight's items under ice water. True. Absolutely true. Barbeck, a long-standing stream member, says, I think everyone is overlooking fear as one of the problems that have to be omitted. With Banshee, you have to save when you see her. So the goal should be to use the Spyglass and True Sight Ring to spot her as soon as possible. So in case Imric or Tyrael or whoever will be fighting can save that as far as distance as possible. Pretty smart. I wonder if that would work. I guess it would. His tactic, however, won't work against the Death Knight, so against his fear we can only hope. Bump up save numbers low. I mean, saves are already 3 or higher, I think. The only trick is to trigger the Cloak of Cheats during the first round of closing so that if Tyrael fails a save, he'll at least be away from power word kill range. Yeah, I think the other reason for doing that is if Tyrael's next to the Death Knight, I'm not sure he can use Fireball. Banshee's considered a helper, so it might be with it during the day. I just don't think the Death Knight will come out during the day, personally. Or I think it might, but as soon as it starts getting attacked, I think it'll go back. As soon as it realizes it's in a real fight. You can easily combine Imric fighting outside of power word kill range and Tyrael fighting in close. The only problem is that Imric won't be able to damage the Banshee since you need to know. I think I can damage the Banshee. If Tyrael will be fighting the Death Knight, he has to have a magic potion just in case. I agree with that. Ways to improve Tyrael's initiative would be welcomed, but not sure if it's possible. No, Dex doesn't improve initiative. The only thing that would is haste, but I don't want to risk casting it. You have fire arrows, you might be able to use them to melt ice in the river. I don't really want to drop it into the river, and I doubt a fire arrow would melt ice. Instead of fearing Death Knight Fireball and Power Word Kill, you might instead just fight him outside Power Word Kill range, and when he finally uses Fireball, heal and go in for the kill. That's pretty smart, actually. So Imric just goes to shoot him. Again, he just uses the Ice Wall to defend himself.
Less than 3.
Bowden's Wolf, thank you for the 7 months. I think that the Death Knight will just use the Ice Wall to defend against any kiting attempt from Imric. You'll have to prepare a small tactic for your other party members to retrieve supplies and sled. But I think we're going to be going into the town during the day. Imric's +3. Okay, that's just responses to that. Some things to keep in mind. Yeah, unlimited wall of ice could screw up a lot of plans, true. Fighting during the day is a good idea, but might not be possible to bait them to come out. True. Ring of Free Action doesn't work on Power Word Stun, confirmed by Koibs. Yes, exactly. Hollow SSL. Invis does work on the Death Knight, but it can use Detect Invis at will. So maybe it does work. That is true. It can cast Detect Invisibility, which is strange if it can see through invisibility. Some ideas. Tyrael charging by himself to bait Power Word Kill is too risky and lots could go wrong. I don't think Anton should fight it unless necessary or Power Word Kill's already used. Try during the day if possible. It might be time to use your allies. Everyone except Lord Khan, the Martha Cleric and Vega try to surround and charge the Death Knight to make it waste Power Word Kill or Fireball. Oh god, no, I don't want to sacrifice people. Either this happens in the city where you can use the buildings as cover or in the open field. If in the open, the fighters, not including Anton and Tyrael, wait to receive a charge and then surround. And the Banshee, while the ranged fighters are out of Fireball range, all... Yeah, okay, I mean, I don't think we're going to do that. Another way is for Tyrael to backstab the Death Knight. Okay. You should definitely ask the new woman about the Death Knight and about the flags. Yeah, that's probably smart. I don't think she'll know because I feel like she's from somewhere else, but maybe. If the Death Knight blindly followed the party this far, they should lead it to the frozen river. The brothers need some way to emulate the absolute godly ascended dragon that learn how to fly and throw rocks. To draw it out, you could pretend to loot the village during the day. Use polymorph to turn into a flying creature with hands and fly high enough above the Death Knight so you can shoot it down. Yeah, or use fly. Use water plane to freeze them to the ground. Again, another good point we've already had though. I never didn't understand this one. Use reduce on a sled dog, knock him unconscious, bind him on Tyrell's back, run to the Death Knight with a Darkness Stone, and bait the Power Word Kill area spell. It will just use Power Word Kill single target on Tyrell. And that would matter. Use the Hat of Disguises to start a race war because it's clever. Charis Machine. Downvote that one. Don't really get it. And Sylvanheiser's post is downvoted at the bottom of the thread. Which I find strange because usually he has the best posts, but we'll see. Sorry if this was answered earlier, but just joined. But is that Keeper the Death Knight is actually Saladin Keeper? I don't think so. I just think we have to kill him to get past the mountains. On the temperature of the glacier, since the ice cracked when you walked over it, it would lead me to believe it was pretty thin, meaning it's probably not that cold. A few degrees below freezing. For reference, 15 centimeters of ice is enough to drive a car from experience. It gets that thick pretty quickly in really cold weather. Okay. Alright, last comment. The Banshee during the day shouldn't be a problem, even if someone botches the 3+ save, they just run away, so it's not too much of an issue. I think Trap and Darkness Cheese is unreliable. I think the way of doing this is to 1v1 him or kite him with a bow once he's potentially lured out again. I think one of the key points is that the health army could be used by Anton or Imric as well, as depending on who gets the best max. Yeah, but again, I don't really feel that comfortable with moving that around. 1 versus 1 man fight is basically stacking Fire Resistance Ring plus the potion. Free action and HP, so higher the Knight can't Fireball the Duelist to such low HP that Power Word Kill kills. Magic Resistance Potion can be used as well for the additional safety net. Not sure that really does anything. Maybe it would. The other option is to stack everything on Imric, including the health and the Cheetah Cloak, and Imric shoots the Death Knight to pieces from long range. Can be combined, where one brother engages in melee while Imric leashes a hail of arrows from maximum range. Or best case as well, let's say Imric tanks the max range fireball, so another brother can move in for melee with massive HP. I think risky. The fireball could still kill me if I don't have the potion as well. Even with items, the Death Knight's unlikely to withstand 2 rounds of fighting a brother. Yes, true. Also, there's a non-zero chance the Knight won't play it perfect and close for melee first and keeping the fireball in reserve. From his point of view, one dude coming towards him is trying to bait out the fireball just to get bum rushed by 10 mid-tier fighters once he uses it. Also, 60 HP is extremely high, so the Death Knight would not expect people to survive that even when undamaged. I think this paragraph has a lot of truth in it. I still think the challenging to a duel thing might be the best option. Just getting a 1v1 in melee. Overall, I think getting more than one person in PWK range at once is asking to get diced. Yeah. As mentioned in another thread, I expect there's a good chance that one brother approaches him honorably. The Death Knight might close for a melee just to realize he's outmatched. So the plan overall should work with some lingering risk, but it also has potential upsides that could make it easier if one is lucky. Also, if Imric takes pot shots while the duel is going down, this might be the perfect situation to use the fire arrow candle to get some extra damage. Judah says, could you use Greater Invis? I could. Maybe Tyrell can backstab him that way. Again, could. It's short range, and I'm not sure if undead are affected by invisibility, but in theory, maybe. Can the void thing from Hogwarts Tower help in any way? No, I don't think so. It's too far back. Do you think you'll ever get the Hat of Disguise back? No. The lady that appeared after Neil went away, did you ever fully check her out? Could she be like a level 8 fighter? I guess she could be. I guess she could be. What's the range of the bow? Yeah, 210 yards, same as Fireball. And then obviously the Fireball has like the range of the explosion itself, so the Fireball's actually slightly longer range. But I would argue that if I'm flying, my range should be higher, I think. Just as a visual representation of what we're looking at here. Another way of thinking about it is this. Just to put you in the mood. This, you know, it's hard to say which is better, isn't it? It's hard to say which is better. Like, artistically, I mean. Because this is like it's made with brushes, isn't it? You know, things are repeated. This, it's organic. Do you know what I mean? The river's flowing organically. The mountains are sort of growing organically. The houses are placed and are shaped organically. The keep itself, you know, has very organic like curves, which you don't expect from a keep, but you know, really makes it seem real. Obviously the clouds, there's like texture in there in the clouds. You can see the sun, but it's muted in the background. It's pretty good going. Add a copium so I can relate to this. The mountain peaks not having snow evenly. Again, yeah, you're right. Organic, mate. Exactly. So good. Is death spell for total HP or current HP? Current HP. The mountains look like a grey giant turtle's foot. Yo, except it's upside down, so that doesn't make sense, does it? I didn't know you had a kid that drew for you. Nice. Yeah, thanks, Exo Creeper. The house on the end without the attached roof is very organic. Well, yeah, because it's obviously suffered the effects of time. Yeah, the other one isn't even signed. That's how much he cares about his artwork. 100% free range organic copium. The river with the fine detail. Yeah, well, this is actually just a choice of medium. I think what you'll find is that this is just the oil brush. Actually, it's very effective at making a realistic river. We can zoom in on it, actually, and you can see the detail. Like, in a lot of ways, it looks like a blue cactus, doesn't it? Could you dig a hole near the city and lure him in? Maybe. Cucumber Gusler. Right, well, we got to the end of the thread. I don't think we've settled on a plan yet. But fortunately, we'll be back on Wednesday. So we can continue our planning then.